Hey, here we go. Okay, welcome back to the Knowledge Drop, y'all. This focus from the Flowmo crew, Cypher Studio, and bboydojo.com. Getting ready for a trip to the States, leaving to California, IA tomorrow for freestyle session, the illest jam in the States. And going to be returning to battling after 4 years. This is going to be interesting this weekend. A lot of people joining. I heard there's over 60 people in the 40 plus category, and it might go up to 100. So it's gonna be dope. Can't wait and looking forward to it. Meanwhile, let's handle some dojo business. We have as a podcast guest today. We have Pluto, the underdog from Ruffneck Attack Crew from Ukraine, joining today, and a special b-boy in many ways. First of all, a hip-hop head, a DJ as well. If you haven't checked out his mixes, go to SoundCloud and search for Pluto the Underdog. There's a bunch of stuff over there, including a new one that just dropped a couple of weeks or months before. But as a b-boy, I look up to him in many ways because he's uh he's he's got skills in a way that he can combine all the elements of the dance, especially power, and make it look b-boy, make it look stylish, make it look complete and surprising. That's something that a lot of so-called power heads cannot do. So let's pick into his brain today. He's also been working on a course for the dojo that's about to drop in a couple of days. So you're going to find out what is part of that course too. Let's get Pluto live on the stage. Boom. What up, the underdog in the house? How's it going?
Hello, hello. Thanks for having me and thanks for kind words as an introduction. Appreciate
Speaking of
it.
the heart, so it's all good. Didn't have to lie, so all right. How's your day been this far?
Yeah, all good. I'm woke up, didn't really have time to do any the morning routines that I usually do. Just decided to sleep a little bit longer, but all good.
Okay. What is your morning routine like? What do you do in the mornings?
First of all, I try to go for a walk or for a jog to the forest. So that is the most important part of the day for me, I would say, because if I skip it, so then the day is not as is not as smooth as it's as I would like it to be. So
Interesting. Do you do that almost every day?
yeah, I do it every single day, or yeah. So I sometimes sometimes I just walk, or sometimes I maybe run, or I do some uphill sprints. It depends. Yeah, it depends how I feel, but try to do it every day just to get my, I don't know, just to wake up, just to get my heart rate up, and just to warm up. So then if I
Yeah,
go to practice later in the day, it just makes it so much easier.
awesome. Yeah, good. I think after getting a kid, all of my morning routines went out the door, but I used to have some as well. At
Yeah, well, you
like
will get back, I'm pretty sure, as soon as you have more or less the, I guess, the settle with the baby and so.
yeah, of course. At some point, well, we had like a small summer house or cottage or whatever, also in the winter. So in the winter time, when I was there, I would do three things every single morning. I would meditate, I would study Spanish, and also swim in the lake, no matter the season. All these
Oh,
three things bundled in one. So the day didn't start before small dip in the lake and some Spanish studies. But hey, maybe I get back to it.
yeah, sounds good.
Duolingo was the thing, man. 10 minutes of Spanish every single morning, and increase some vocab. Of course, if you don't practice, you forget all of it real soon. So gotta get back to it.
That
What do you
sounds
have
good. I
in the
guess.
plate today? What's coming up during the day later on? Going to practice today?
Yeah, I'm going to. I'm not sure if I have time to practice today, but I'm going to have a PT class later, and then after that, I go to teach a few classes. So, yeah, and then by the time it's gonna be already evening, so not sure if I have time to practice today.
All right, cool. Yeah, for the people who don't know about your work as a PT at the gym, can you share slightly on what is it that you do on the gym tip, and also how has it influenced the way that you dance?
Well, I started when it was Corona time, so or after basically it was still Corona, but it was still like more or less open. Everything started opening again, so then I done the course. Yeah, PT course, personal trainer, coach, and so on. So that kind of allowed me to apply for jobs, and then I started working in the gym as a PT, or it's more CrossFit related gym here in Helsinki in Sörnäinen. So yeah, basically that just something that especially once I also become a part of the Finnish national team as a coach, so it kind of makes sense to get some knowledge and skills from that area, from that aspect. So yeah, it's pretty fun. It's nice to work with different kind of people. So then you different needs and different goals. So it's useful, I believe, since anyway I've been teaching dancing for many years, so it kind of go hand in hand. So I think it's fun to get a little different perspective, not from the dancers that you need to teach them dancing or what, but it's something completely different just from the exercising perspective, so that people feel happier, feel more healthy, and so on.
Yeah, yeah. And I've noticed the difference too. Like after you've been taking the courses and working over there a little bit more, uh, following you coach people, I see there's a wealth of information that you share with people, such as the warm-ups, the exercises, and even like using terms that breakers doesn't often necessarily use, like, all right, this is going to work on your glutes, this is going to work on your abductors and such. I'm like, okay, this guy knows what he's talking about. So it did the trick. And probably for your dancing too, like you know better how to take care of yourself so you can keep going even after so many years of dancing.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, once you start hanging out or like work and be around the people that whether they nutritional coaches or they doing like crazy numbers with as far as like weights and time, like it's a common thing in like CrossFit, and then you see just different kind of people that they actually in great shape in their, I don't know, 40s, 50s. Like you see all kinds of people, and it definitely inspires you. So you picked up their brain and how, like on the daily basis, without necessarily asking on purpose, but just as a conversation happens. So then you get some tips and tricks from there, even though they might look on you as a coach, knowing that I know better. But of course, I'm also learning. So everyone has their own trick, and it's nice to that. Then you think, okay, I can maybe test
Yeah.
or whatever the case may be. But of course, it's I also have that responsibility that if you would have regular dancing classes, not necessarily like nobody really cares what is your routine look like, or but when you start have that that people look at you in one way or another, you're like some kind of authority, or I don't know. So then you need to be on your A game just for yourself. That you know that I know that if I'm following my routines and try to stay disciplined and so on, so then it makes me more confident and competent in front of other people.
For sure. All right, let's take it back to dancing. Let's start with this. What intrigued you with learning power? Was there somebody who you looked up to, or were you just fascinated by the movement in general? Or if we take it back, what is it that made you be like, damn, I want to learn power. I want to learn both ways, and I want to learn all of it.
Power, yeah. Well, that was the first thing that I started practicing when there was a Battle of the Year, and already from that tape, Battle of the Year '99. So already from that tape, I mean, ever since then, when I saw Gambi, the whole suicidal lifestyle, and Rock Force, and there was like 5 Amax and all these legendary clips from that VHS tape. So ever since then, it was like, okay, there was like 4 or 5 air flares. Like if we're talking about air power, and then it was crazy ground power from Gumby. So it was a combination of both, and then you look other footages, other tapes, Storm, Swift Rock, like obviously Quick Step, all the info, all the VHS tape, different clips that I could find at the time, and then of course Freestyle Session, Boy, the legendary combo. I mean, it was probably the longest combo I've ever seen at that time. That it was just like one-handed like air flare, then just changing level, windmill, air flare, elbow air flare. I don't remember how many times he's done it, but it was insane. Yeah, and then Koreans, Bruce Lee, The Ant, and then just you name it. It's just so many. So of course it was like an evolution that it was nice to see the evolution from more traditional and classic ground power up to to nowadays.
Yeah, I remember that tape too. Battle of the Year '99, Susan Lifestyle really blew my mind as well. I remember rewinding it back and forth with Gumby's windmills and the no-handed halos and headspin combos, the tombstones, all of that stuff. I
Yeah,
still go back to it. That's a reference to my students. Like when I look for a perfect windmill, that's Gumby in that tape. And we always watch it at the class too. I can't do it that good, so I show it to them every time. I'm like, all right, this is how you're supposed to look. Slow it down so you can get how he uses his hands, how his legs are positioned, how the head stays in the ground like a magnet and such. So
yeah,
definitely an influential tape.
yeah. And I
But
don't want to like just to of course mention not only the the classic, like the European ground power, but then also the Koreans, but then of course the US power heads, like most definitely the huge influence as far as combining power moves with other tricks and be original and create your own stuff, like Ruin, Omar, Kevo. Like it was just so many great. I mean, they're still around, luckily. So many great b-boys that they brought exactly the style into power, and that it wasn't only the that one power move, but it was something else where you start creating your own variations inside of that, or the combining, whatever the case may be.
yes, indeed. Was there like a moment where you found your personal style? Because you don't only just throw the power as it is. You mix it with your footwork. You mix it with your tops and back rocks and such. And you also change directions effortlessly, which is rare thing to see. Was there like a moment where you realized, like, okay, this is the way that I want to dance, and this is the way Pluto's style is built? Or how did that come about?
Well, I'm pretty sure. Well, it was later on when it kind of clicked in my head, but it was more related to like both ways. But it was at that point I was already breaking for like, I don't know, 13, 14 years. So, but before that, it was let's say for first maybe 5, 7 years, it was only power, basically like power moves, but then maybe some that I was at the same time learning, but I wasn't into like footwork in a way that I would learn all the foundation. So I was practicing power, 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 power. Then already started creating some power moves, but it was still look like it was just a power basically, or from beginning till the end. But then, of course, having like my crewmates around me they were like mostly footwork based b-boys. So then, of course, seeing them like practicing footwork and developing in that direction. So then, of course, they started telling me like, okay, well, or not necessarily they started telling me, but that you naturally want to also learn something. And then people said, okay, why don't you combine your entrance to whatever air flare like this, or the entrance or exit from flare like this, or it was, and then there was some good advices that I still remember till nowadays, that, for example, if I was crashing from power move, because I didn't really know even how to, if you crash, it's like, okay, there is no plan B. And it's like, you need to learn how to how to crash, meaning that if you want to combine, like, you need to be able to combine with footwork or whatever the exit to make it smooth, that it doesn't look like you crash. So of course, then you start learning. Okay, I need to also learn some other levels of breaking, not only power moves and power tricks. But then actually, when it clicked, as far as like both directions and all the other like footwork, so it was around 2013, I would say, which is already like what 10 years ago. And that was like, and that, I would say, came from Migas and like Lego and people like with this flow. So it was more like a flow idea and the concept. So once you got this idea of flow, then basically everything else is like you have a clear vision. So everything goes from there, and then the flow means like, well, you don't want to restrict your breaking in any way. You just want to have a perfect flow where every movement connects with each other, whether it's a power move, whether it's a footwork. But then I was like, okay, but I don't really, even at that time, like, I didn't have all the like foundation in footwork. So I just started learning both ways, everything, every small step, every transition, which if you look at it nowadays, it's like, well, okay, I was trying to create like based on that 8-ball technique, like all the sequences possible, which nowadays, if you think, it's, well, I mean, it's just simply endless. Like you can go that deep, and at one point I went that deep that it was like, well, the transition, not necessarily, well, where are you going to use it? If you're talking about battle, like you're doing like some sequences both direction, yeah, like people understand you can do it, but then it's just taking away from, let's say, your signature moves or the actual battle tactic or whatever. So then I dedicated time, which of course I don't regret, because it's luckily stays in my body till nowadays, till this day, that you create all these patterns where you want to do everything both ways: freezes, power moves, footwork, transition, everything. So then it's up to you really how deep you want to go. And for some time I went, maybe it was like a 6 months where I was practicing really, and those 6 months has changed my breaking completely. So I remember when I went to I don't remember, what was it, like a Just Debout, just for rockers. It was Nasera, the girl Hurricane. She was organizing event when me and then we were end up dancing together 2-on-2, and then end up battling in the final on this huge Just Debout stage against Menno and Gasama. So that day I was like, even, and then there was Singapore Radical Force. So I clearly remember that how my dancing has changed, that I almost couldn't believe watching the tapes after that. There's like, okay, I dedicated time, like 6 months is really hard work, that kind of like changed my style completely. So that's like a long story short.
Yeah, man. And that takes a lot of courage as well, because when possibly you don't have any people that you look up to who dance in the same way, let's say, all right, power both ways. There's not too many who can do it. I remember seeing like Tough Kid rocking flares both ways, and after that, some individuals, but there's not too many who know most of it. So, and even coming from a situation where most of your crew is footwork based, so I'm wondering, where did that courage come from? Where did you find that believe in yourself? Like, shit, man, there's not too many who can do it, but I will if I dedicate the time and do the hard work.
Well, it's good if you have. Of course, it would have been way harder if I wouldn't have already the foundation of power that I had already back then. So it would have been harder, definitely. But then it's kind of like I didn't even think of the courage. I was just like, okay, well, if I learn it one way, like, why can I learn it opposite direction. So if you think about it, that we all learn something, and when we learn, we don't really think, oh, how hard. Like if you want to do it, you just practice a little bit every day, or but then once you have it, like, why not to try? It's like almost that you start from the beginning, but then of course you have advantage because you can apply exactly the same technique. When you learn, you remember, okay, how this hand goes, how this leg goes, how this transition goes, and you just start applying for your other direction. So it's so much easier because you already have experience. So you can like, of course, it's just the repetitions, and I understand that when you reach some kind of a level, then people don't really learn like completely new things. They maybe can do some adjustments and create some new variations, but it's like the more years you dance, the people don't exactly take a courage, or they don't want to put the work as far as like, okay, well, I want to learn something that I've never done before, even though I've been breaking for like 15 years. So, it's not necessarily, of course, but if you have some clear vision how you want to apply this to your breaking, or how it can benefit you, or challenge yourself, so I think it's never, like, of course, it's never too late. And then second of all, it's just, it's a matter of how you how far you want to develop as a b-boy, how versatile you want to be, and how you want to stay interesting for other people, that you keep on surprising them with something.
Yeah, that's a matter of mentality, exactly like you said. Like, do you come to the practice understanding that you don't know it all, or do you think you're the shit already? That's the difference.
Exactly, yes.
So going back to basics every single day and trying to relearn things that you're missing in your arsenal and your vocabulary. So that takes some sort of level of humbleness in order to be there and think about it like, okay, damn, I'm not there yet. I need to work harder. I need to work again, or go back to the basics again today and every single day afterwards.
Yeah,
The work never stops, man.
yeah.
So how do you train these days?
These days, well, it really depends. It's maybe not as much as I would prefer to practice as I would love to, because of the work and all this kind of stuff. But it's it how would I describe, well, with all the injuries, let's say, and it's not always easy to maybe start practicing, that you can go to the practice spot and there is maybe nobody's practicing, or maybe people practice different times, so it's requires extra push to get started, that if you by yourself. But I would say that just taking your time, or at least for me, it works the best, and I don't want to rush. Even if I don't have that day a lot of time for practice, it can be 1 hour, it can be 1.5 hours, but I prefer to just take my time as far as like warm up, mobility, just to get into flow state, into the zone where I feel comfortable in my body. So I don't want to rush just because I don't have time. I don't want to go through like just start rushing and doing like power combos, because the priority for me just to stay calm, or to calm myself down, where I know that, okay, I'm not in the rush as far as like competitions or anything, so that I want to open up my body, then start with some basic transitions, just going through some basics, some drills, again, like some 8 balls, and then maybe work on new power transitions that I either forgotten, or I haven't done in a long time, or I've never done it before. So that can take some time to just go through, like repeat again and again, and to record the footage and like save the footage from that practice, maybe take some clips from the day, so then next day I can look back and see, okay, what did I do, how it looks like, because let it sink in, like let it be for I don't know, a few days, and how that whatever transition, how it looks like, what is the best way to combine. So I try to be like more analytical. The maybe the structure, like I used to maybe do a lot of this structure and building like the sequence where every movement has to be like perfectly combined. But then of course it now I start realizing that it was just a part of that period in my like breaking career. Then it's not, you need to go back to like, okay, but is it like connected to the music? This is the number one question. So then you need to kind of short it down and not try to go too far with your brain, but then of course be present. So nowadays, yes, I definitely keep up the power and keep the transitions and keep like all these small details that I want to show. But then I also try to be in the moment and be present, because I've done this mistake so many times when you just so much in your head, and then when the moment comes, you are actually not in the moment, because you just think of execution and not of just like relaxing. So nowadays I try to take every opportunity, even if it's some bigger competition, especially if it's some small event. So I try to be always present and remind myself that, okay, and of course at the practice, that I just want to be relaxed and present with the music, and then let my body do the work with the music, that relying on my strengths. So, and it worked kind of for at least last events. Like I'm pretty satisfied, not necessarily of the rounds, like of course it always can be done better, but me going into the round or like going into the jam with the feeling that, okay, I don't want to stress too much, I want to take it as a challenge, but in a good way, that I don't want to be stressed out, and whatever happens, if I fail, I fail, but at least I don't want to do the same mistake that I've done already for many years, I would say.
Good. That's inspiring, man. Cool. And for the past couple of months, we've been working on the course together at the dojo. Maybe in your own words, can you explain slightly what's going to be in the course that's about to be ready in a few days at bboydojo.com?
Yeah. Well, we cover, I believe, many different aspects of breaking, such as, well, obviously it is a power move, but I believe that it was not only power move from perspective of learning the actual technique, but how to combine it with other elements of breaking, and then also how to create original power, original variations, how to prep yourself for that session for power moves, and how to recover after the session. So it's a lot of things around the power move subject. Then also some strength exercises that actually helped me a lot. And I wouldn't say that it's like, oh, why would I have done it before? Well, before it was, I didn't my body didn't have a need for that. But then maybe, of course, as you get older, so then you need to have some external pressure or like external resistance, like a kettlebells and maybe some rubber bands exercises. So then it can definitely benefit you in your maybe explosiveness, endurance. You just want to like speed and all these kinds of stuff. So we cover a little bit on that aspect. What else did we do?
I think that's pretty much it. Yeah. So preparation and rehab. Then we have ground power, air power section as well. And then applying it into your own personal style, how to apply power into your style, how to make it flow, how to make your original combos, and how to have it as part of your rounds in a smooth, flowy way. So I guess that's pretty much the main topics.
Yeah.
And people at the dojo been waiting for power course for forever. I remember getting requests for like 3 or 4 years. Like there needs to be a power course. We got a foundation course. We got a footwork course. We got all these different courses, but nothing is deeply related into power. So it's finally time. People will be rewarded for their long wait. And also, I learned a lot from the course for making it and going through some of the videos too. I got my first air flare back to swipe in a decade after checking out your
Yeah.
tutorials. So yeah, man, we're
Nice.
getting there. Good, good. Dope. And if you haven't checked it out already, there's a freebie already available, a mini course that's part of this one. So head out to bbodojo.com/Pluto. You get the first 3 valuable tutorials over there. We can work on your direction changes with power and such. A lot of cool stuff. And I can't wait for releasing the actual course. It's going to be in a couple of days. Next week, the latest. And the team is working super hard in order to get everything ready. So I'm looking forward to it myself. Cool, man. Great talk. Good having you over here. Last shout outs, last greetings for anybody tuning in. Classic crew shout outs.
Well, shout out to my crew, of course. Would like to see them more often because nowadays, for obvious reasons, we're like all over the place. And yeah, shout out to people in Finland, people in Helsinki. Yeah, that I was happy to share events, to share practice, to share whatever, to share all good times since I moved here, and it's yeah, it's been really fun, and for you too, definitely to providing the platform and giving the opportunity to share the knowledge with other people. So yeah, it was definitely a great opportunity that me myself I also learned a lot from it to just go through through my own thoughts and collect and recollect all the ideas and so on. So yeah, definitely to basically to everybody who's watching and to everybody who's to want to join the course. So hopefully you will get a lot of useful things out of it.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
Cool. Thank you for your time. Perfect. And we stay in touch. I'll see you around in practice in jams and on travels. Have a
yeah,
good
most
day and good practice
definitely.
today.
And
Yeah,
have a
man.
great trip to LA. Good luck with the entering the battles.
I'll do my best. Yeah,
Yeah.
boy. Later. There you have it, straight from the jump. Like we said earlier, head out to bbodojo.com/Pluto to get the first mini course. We also have the Power Move Challenge over there on Instagram at bbodojo going on. I think in day 4 right now, so one more day. Take part, earn dojo points, and get a free coaching call by Pluto in the next couple of days. So let's stay in touch, y'all. Expect some more dope stuff. I'll rock LA first, and I'll be back for some more podcast. Thank you for tuning in, y'all. Hey.